Gunara Orun Bobo Orisha for another day to bask in the goodness of Onile's sacred earth. Every day given is very special, and here are a few details, cosmic details, pertaining to how. I'm Ayansa JT Muse, and this is your early rising or your evening settling mystic forecast. Love and light to all passengers aboard the mothership. Sundays in many spiritual denominations is the day of the Sabbath, the day of rest and reflection, the day the Most High His herself rested after 6 days of creation. In general mystics, Sunday is of course the day ruled by the sun, the burning star that charges all. Sundays are also sacred to the Orisha Obatala and many traditions of African spirituality. One of Obatala's favorite ideas. Ekule, good evening to you. Adupoyo to your Ori, to your ancestors and your spirit guides for leading you here tonight. It's 9 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, and it is time for your nightly mystic forecast. I am Mayanza J. Muse, the mother of the mothership and the Black Madonna of the airwaves, bringing you the ones, the twos, the mystics and the mojos, the doubles, digits, and all the old school grooves in between on my self-created 24-hour radio station, 222.9 The Mothership. Y'all really want to beam up and get some of this wisdom and some of this groove. It's really popping off over here. It is your Mars-ruled, Ogun-venerated Tuesday, which I have switched to Toolsday, because Ogun owns all the tools, and none of us get anything done without tools in our hands. As a matter of fact, we are tools ourselves, but we need each other because no blade is so sharp that it carves its own handle. We are broadcasting live from my YouTube channel, from 3 of my Facebook pages, and on my Instagram live, Ayansa's Peridopotis. So if you haven't already, beam up to the link tree so that you can experience the entire Ayansa JT Muse experience. Yes, I'm one woman on a 7-day orbit, but hey, I was born for it. Zodiac House 5 ruled by the sun, and we know the sun travels through all 12 houses. Or do the planets orbit around the sun? Because the sun doesn't move, does it? And in our stillness, we make the world spin. So, me being the sun child that I am following suit tonight and giving you a recap of tonight as we prepare for tomorrow. Tuesday is day 2 of the week, according to the biblical creation story of Genesis, the day that the land emerged from the sea. So if you got your emotions lined up last night, they were driven into action when the moon's ruling faded into Mars. So how proactive were we today? How productive were we today? What roads did Ogun open and which ones did he close? For your highest good, of course. Today is the day of nature. Ibashe Ojo Ishegun. Ibashe Ojo Ishegun. That's Tuesday in the Yoruba tongue, and that's the day of victory. And yes, Ogun is the aspect of God that is war. So what battles did you win today? Are you even aware that you're at war? What do you need to wage war against? Within, of course. These are good things to ponder on as you go into action for Tuesday. Tuesday drops the E in motion and just leaves motion with the masculine drive of the planet Mars. Tuesday is also the day in many Orisha traditions that venerates the Orisha Ogun. So today's a good time to pay the railroad tracks a visit or take something in the woods just to say thank you to Ogun for civilization, for technology, and for all the tools needed to build your highest destiny. If you are listening over the airways of 222.9 The Mothership, you're hearing this smooth voice of mine over the sounds of Cool in the Gang Summer Madness. Why? Because we're headed into Summer Madness when the clock strikes 12, baby. When the clock strikes 12, spring equinox is officially over. It is officially crab season and the very first day of summer solstice. Gonna tell you more about that right now. I'm going to take a quick break. Those of you that are watching on video, let you check out the montage of all the Divine Father's old school groove when you beam up to the mothership on a Tuesday. I'm Mayantha J. Muse, and this is your nightly mystic forecast. Ashe. Green vegetations, plant magic, Ibasheo Gun, Ibasheo Nile, Ibasheo Chosi, heart chakra, jazz, voices of the fathers, Mars. Welcome to Tuesdays on the Mothership, 222.9. Beam up. I painted this one green for you. Listen. Ojo es segun noonday Tuesday, the sun is high, lush. But concrete city life has Mars in overdrive. I bring the elixir, the medicine, the poultice, from equinox to solstice, viridescent like the essence of the heart's house, you'll notice. A cool breeze for green firestones, parados relax in the heart of my clearing. So here you go. Sip with delight. And I answer J. Muse, short poem. And we're back. So, in case you're just now joining us, I'm Mayantha J. Muse, the Black Madonna of the airwaves, sole creator of 222.9 The Mothership, and you are getting your nightly mystic forecast. So, I titled tonight's show The Last Toolsday because Gemini season ends on Tuesday. Yes. So this is the last Tuesday of Gemini season, the 13th Tuesday of spring equinox. And the moon tonight is waxing in my house. Hey, hey, hey. The moon is waxing in Leo. So while that Mars energy is pushing you into forward drive, that divine masculine force, and the moon is waxing, so the feminine is aligned with that force. This is a good time to do some prayers, some manifestations, however you work your jelly, to increase your willpower. Because when there is a will, there is a way. And Eshu can't open the way for something you have put no will behind. Ogun can't clear the road until your Ori decides it's going to drive forward. And that isn't the only Ori Shad play here today, because the daily numerology is on a 6. And in Orisha tradition, that is the number that is sacred to the Orisha Shango, the fire of transformation, the fire that gives us the passion within. But once that passion is stirred up, be mindful of which direction you are taking it in. And maybe that's what Gemini season this year has come to teach us about our own dualities. What say you? We go into crab house season. So Geminis, y'all got about 2 hours and 50 minutes to get your last turnips in, because when the clock strikes 12, it's crab season, baby. Sit down, sit down. You had your turn. But as we take a look at Gemini season, I want you all to go back for a minute. Go back to May 21st. and think of this moment now. And during that time, can you recall any areas where your dualities were challenged? Hmm. Because we talk a lot about the ego. The problem is we make the ego a bad thing. The ego isn't a bad thing. It's just a bad thing when it's not balanced. Your ego can very well be put to work for your spirit when you allow them to have their balance. The yin and the yang, the light and the dark, the sun and the moon, right? So just remember as we bid farewell to Gemini season of 2023 that our ego self is there to protect our spirit selves from getting trampled on. But our spirits are there. Spirit self protects the ego self from getting way too out of control. The ego is never satisfied. The flesh is never satisfied. It always wants more and more and more and more and more. But the spirit self sometimes doesn't want enough. So when you allow those dualities to join hands, you create that beautiful divine thing we call balance. I'm going to let you marinate on that for a minute, take a quick break, and when I come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about what's so special about today. I'm Ayansa J. Muse, and this is your Nightly Mystic Forecast. Greens. Ayansa's Gourd Bottle Art. Greens. Personalized poultices in the forms of oils and baths. The Mars Collection. Kemetic Tarot Readings. Other handmade mystic oddities. Greens. Earth Tone Inspired Healing Stone Jewel Mars Collection. Peridot Poultice. Blog articles. And online courses. It's all inside the Mothership Mystic Boutique. The Mars Collection. Oh, yes. It's about that time. When the hour is good and late. When solitude may not be such a good thing. It's time to go deeper inside the many visions of what love looks like. The most powerful force of it all. Love. The spark that makes life worth living. Love. That thing we all want and need. Love. One potent drop will send you to your knees. Love. We try to make rules where there aren't any. Love. I could go on and on forever, like we want our love to last. Love. It takes all and quarantines nothing. Love. So addictive in its many forms. Love. High, low, above, over, under the norm. Oh, don't be shy. 'Cause somewhere down the line, we're all about that life. So join me on weeknights at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time for a love-filled, lovely musical wind-down, a deeper look inside what love looks like. Slow jams, blue lights in the basement kind of love, the kind that creates generations. Only on your mystic musical haven on the airwaves. 222.9, the Mothership. Beam up. And we're back. I'm Ayansa J. Muse, bringing you your nightly mystic forecast for June 20th, 2023, headed into June 21st, 2023. I'd like to wish a happy solar return to everyone born on this day. You have originality and some executive ability and mechanical skill. You are serious, and you think deeply and keep your own counsel in your personal affairs. You are generous and considerate and take much interest in affairs other than those in your regular routine. You have many real friends and love your home and family ties. Sounds like someone born on June 20th is a good person to be around. And those of you that are in the other 11 houses, make sure you show the Geminis in your world some love, especially those born in the third decan, which is actually half Aquarius. So that's three planets on a duality head. That's a lot of energy to work with. In the comedic way of the stars, we are in the season of Set, and in the 12 figures of African spirituality, we are in the zodiac season of the ancestor. We will get to more of those later on down the line. Two planets that are still in retrograde: Saturn, Pluto. Saturn, the trickster planet of karma, discipline, power, carnal essence. And we're going to be in retrograde with Saturn until November 4th. Okay? So during this time, even though we're shifting into the more emotional energies of crab season, zodiac house 4, so Mercury planetarily is going to switch out to moon energy being high for the next 30 days. So be prepared to reopen some emotional floodgates. That's what it's there for, honey. And y'all ever wondered why summer solstice begins with a water sign? So the water can cool the heat, perhaps? While Saturn is in retrograde, think about important life lessons. Embrace your deeper crossroads. Keep your priorities in check because there are many rewards for discipline, creative expression, and most of all, self mastery. Pluto is still in retrograde as well and will be until Wednesday, October 11th. And I love that day, and I've said that in previous forecasts as to why. So you may have to dig up those archives to find out why that's such a special day. Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. Where Mars is unbridled drive, Pluto represents regeneration, transformation, mind your taboos. This is the most subtle of retrogrades, but subtlety has its powers. End old chapters, close old relationships, stop old things, start new chapters, starting from, of course, within. I'm Mayansa J. Muse. I'm going to take a quick break, and when I come back, we are going to get into Wednesday, the week's climax, and what to expect. This is 222.9 The Mothership, your mystic haven on the airwaves. Beam up. Before sight. Before sight of shells, there were stanzas, stanzas of my soliloquies. Before sight of wisdom, before sight of worship, there was only my written word, Afoshe. Before sight of divination, before sight of Dafa, there were diaries, diaries in dozens. Before sight of revelation, before sight of reason, there were only my rhapsodomancies of rhyme, rearranged to rhythms of my lipstick-kissed alchemy, alchemies of my depths, my valleys, my mountains, my visions, my empathies, my testimonies, my joys, my sorrows, my love. Before sight of awakening, before sight of airwaves, before sight of anointing, there were archives of my allegories. Before sight of clarity, before sight of conversion and clergy call, there were collections of my ink prints. Before sight of prophecy, before sight of priestesshood, there was poetry, poetries that bear my fruit. There was me. Did you enjoy the work and greenery wisdom of the Paradopotis? Well, I hope you did, because now it's time to take to the skies on my Wednesdaily blog, the Malbec Planetarium. That's www.poeticallymuse.org/Malbec Planetarium. That's POETICALLYMUSED.org/MALBECPLANETARIUM. Bet you won't join me there tomorrow to learn a few secrets of the quasars. Ashe. And we're back. You're jamming to the sounds of Kool and the Gang's Summer Madness if you're listening over the airwaves. And if you are watching on the videos, you're seeing me in green lipstick and veneration to Ogun on your Mars Rule Tuesday. This is Ayanta J. Muse, the sole creator of 222.9, the Mothership Internet Radio, and this is your nightly mystic forecast. So, before the break, we recapped all the cosmic energies of Tuesday, and now we're talking about Wednesday, the 21st, vibrating on a 16-7, and 7 is the number of Yemaja and Ogun. So both of those energies came to keep Wednesday company as we go into the climax of a ringing in Cancer season. Well, I like to say Zodiac 4 or crab season. I don't really like that word. So that hosts Yemaja Ogun or Ya. It's the first Wednesday of summer solstice. We're still in the season of the ancestor in the African way of the stars. Emotional resolve season, huh? Because moon is at play. The moon is at play until July 21st. The moon is going to be very, very strong for the next 30 days. So make sure you show all the people that were born in that season some love. Stay in tune with your emotions and don't try to shut them down, shut them out, or make yourself too busy because still waters run deep. And when waters get too heavy, levees break. And we wouldn't want to have no meltdowns out there, now would we? Tomorrow night, the moon will be waxing in my house again, Leo. Hey, hey, hey. So continue to increase your willpower, but just acknowledge it from the more emotional side of things as opposed to your duality. But dealing with your duality and shifting that energy, your ego is indeed powered by your emotions. So with that moon energy shifting, this is a good time to sort all that out while the weather heats up. Let you think about that for a minute while I give you a little taste of what's to be expected during tomorrow's groove on 222.9 The Mothership. And when we come back, we will get into your nightly tarot draw. Wednesdays, Mercury, Uranus, purples, Ibashe Oya, Ibashe Nanaburuku, maroons, exotic voices of the mothers. Welcome to Wednesdays on the Mothership, 222.9, beam up. Tarot readings. A lot like peach cobbler. You may have had them before, but you've never tried mine. 12 months, 13 cards, a yearly prediction only needing to be done once a year. Great for New Year celebrations and or solar returns. The Sun Circle Tarot Reading, a signature spread by Ayansa JT Muse, brought to you by the Mothership Mystic Boutique. If you are hearing this over Mothership Airwaves, visit 222.9 The Mothership's Facebook page for the links to book your appointment. If you are seeing this online, simply click the link in the description box below this video to book your Sun Circle reading appointment. Ashe. Tarot readings. A lot like peach cobbler. You may have had them before, but you've never tried mine. 7 cards, 7 chakras, 7 oris. What will they say about your inner alignment? The Chakra Line Tarot Reading by Ayansa JT Muse, brought to you by the Mothership Mystic Boutique. Boutique prescription healing stone waist beads and or bracelets for the men are available upon request. If you are hearing this over Mothership Airwaves, visit the 222.9 Mothership Facebook page for your link to book an appointment. If you're seeing this online, click the link in the description box below and let's get this show on the road. Ashe. And we're back. In case you're just now joining us, I'm Ayansa J. Muse, and this is your nightly mystic forecast. And here I have my Tuesday tarot draw, which is for tonight, and then the card for tomorrow from the Mayan Oracle Tarot deck. Well, now this read is also on TikTok, so I'm going to make this one short, but this came from the Major Arcane of my Kemetic Tarot deck, and it's called The Rising of the Dead. And what it speaks to is resurrecting the wisdom within yourself that has been carried on by so many generations that have come before you. It teaches you not to be lazy. The rising of the dead does not just talk about raising the wisdom within, but on a more practical level, it speaks of resurrecting stagnant energies in one's world. So if there's anything that's on your spirit that you've been procrastinating on, if there's anything that you've allowed to go dormant that needs to be resurrected, allow those things to rise in your life. And notice that the Saturn symbol is here, which is aligned with the Saturn gone into retrograde. So this deals with a lot of energy behind karmic justice, spiritual discipline, deep self-expression, and just not allowing the gifts you've been given to lie with the dead. So whatever needs to rise in you for your higher purpose and higher benefit, it's time to rise those things. Okay? And moving into my favorite tarot deck out of my entire collection, and that is the Mayan Oracle. And we pulled a star glyph card. See, what I like about this tarot deck is that it doesn't have traditional suits. Typical tarot decks have 4 suits. This one only has 3. The star glyphs, the lenses, and the numbers. So the star glyphs are kind of like the major arcane kind of feel. So this is another major arcane card, and it's Keeb. And Keeb is a symbol of the owl, which is the wisdom and the wisdom of the mothers at that. Its sacred number is 16, and 16 is the number sacred to Orunmila and the Ifa Orisha tradition. And what this card speaks of is embracing your inner knowing and connecting it with Tuesday's card. Resurrecting your ancestral knowing strongly increases your inner knowing. So this is just a reaffirmation from a more galactical level. Trust in your ability and act on guidance from spirit. And that can be tough. That can be challenging with so many distracting external stimuli. You see what I mean? Spiritual intelligence far supersedes human logic. Can we imagine how Noah must have felt when he was told to build the boat? Everybody else living their best life, and I got to build this boat. That didn't make very much sense at the time it came to his spirit, did it? But when it started raining, it did. Think about it. So don't be afraid to step out on faith and step into that inner knowing of yourself, because the inner knowing is learning to trust and act upon the voice of the God within. I'm going to let you marinate on that for a minute. And of course, on this next commercial break, I'm going to post my link tree where all of you can get to the links to book personal readings should you need some clarity and guidance. I'm my Auntie J Muse, and this is your nightly mystic forecast. A question on the heart is the spirit's thirst for clarity. Readings, consultations, I call them intuitive counseling sessions, but you know what I mean. They're kind of like gumbo or peach cobbler. You may have tried many, but you haven't had mine. I can say I met the divine when I was about 9. Ever since I was 16, I found myself wondering, do I have an invisible "please come tell me your business" sign taped to my forehead? Then one day I was sitting at the bus stop at a crossroad, and I had the audacity to ask the goddess, why was I even sent to earth? And I became an ethereal, intuitive counselor. And the universe has been answering that question over and over again, one phone call at a time, for the last 9 years. From there, in between sessions, I began to relentlessly apply, align, and study the ways of the stars and of the ancients. 3 years in, Orisha priestesshood to Oya came knocking. Hence the Iya in the name Iyansa J. Iyansa, an Oya praise name. Oya is the Orisha who brings radical transformation and change. Make no mistake about it now, baby. I am no soothsayer. I am no fortune teller. I'm not a private investigator. I don't cast love spells. I'm not an emotional punching bag. I'm not a spiritual trash dump. I am not a haven for jinn spirits. I give guidance with clarity, with wisdom, with love, with truth. I unlock keys to your spiritual growth and your highest destiny according to your unique design. Ready for some evolutionary change? Let's talk. And we're back. I'd like to say thank you for allowing me the time and space in your being to share with you this nightly mystic forecast and to give you the heads up of what's coming tomorrow in the quasars. But it's time for me to go cook up some more mojo to throw on these airwaves and on these blogs to make sure that I'm serving up the spiritual cosmic stew for the world to snack upon. So this girl's got things to do, so it's time for me to beam on back up. But stay tuned, and those of you that are watching from the videos, beam up to 222.9, the Mothership Internet Radio. It is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day groove dedicated to your planetary alignment, preserving the classics of Black music, planetary aligned, full of mystic wisdom, venerating Orishas with sleep meditations at midnight, honey. And you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to sit in front of a screen all day. All you have to do is turn it on like you would any other radio station and let it do its thing in your world. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. As a matter of fact, I got a song to spin for you right now, but you'll have to beam up to listen to it. We talked about dualities, and I am Omo Oya, and dualities have a lot to do with masks, and Oya loves masks. And so I'm going to play one of my favorite old school joint by George Benson, came out in 1976, This Masquerade. Remember now, the sky is big enough for us all to be stars. And in the words of the great music elder George Clinton, free your mind and your ass will follow. I'm Mayantha J. Muse, and this has been your nightly mystic forecast. Beam up. Every day is special. Why not find out mystically how? This is the forecast on your Mystic Music Haven on the airwaves, 222.9, the mothership. Beam up.